Angel in the morning, shooting star across the night. The most beautiful girl I've seen in all my life. Every second spent with you is like a day that starts brand new. Girl, I'm so amazed at all the things you do. Yes, I wanna build my whole world around you. So I promise you forever and girl, you are my sunshine, baby. Don't you go away. I want me, all over me, already alive. I will love you forever. I want me, all over me, already alive. I will love you forever. I hear music in your words and in the way you call my name. When you're by my side, I can't do anything. You're my best friend, you're my lover. Without you, no one else would do. Through thick and thin, I know we'll make it through. Yes, I wanna build my whole world around you. So I promise you forever and for always. Girl, you are my sunshine, baby. Don't you go away. I want me, all over me, already alive. See, I will love you forever. I want me, all over me, already alive. I will love you forever. My baby, you are my sunshine, my love and my essence. There's no one like you. My baby, you are my sunshine, my love and my essence. There's no one like you. You are me, all over me, already alive. Say I will love you forever. Oh, you are me, all over me, already alive. Say I will love you forever. My sugar, my honey, my lover, I will love you forever. My baby, my lover, and my best friend, I will love you forever. I place no woman above you. I will love you forever. I promise to always love you, baby. I will love you forever. And there's no one other girl to lose. I will love you forevermore. Ever and ever and evermore. I will love you forever. Cause you are my baby, my sunshine. I will love you forever. And when there's nothing more to say, I will love you forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. I will love you forever. Like an angel in the morning, shooting star across the night. The most beautiful girl I've seen in all my life. Every second spent with you is like a day that starts brand new. Girl, I'm so amazed at all the things you do. Yes, I wanna build my whole world around you. So I promise you forever and for always. My sunshine, baby, don't you go away. I want me, all over me, already alive. I will love you forever. I want me, all over me, already alive. I will love you forever. in the way you call my name. When you're by my side, I can't do anything. You're my best friend, you're my lover. Without you, no one else would do. Through thick and thin, I know we'll make it true. Yes, I wanna build my whole world around you. So I promise you forever and for always. Yeah, you are my sunshine, baby. Don't you go away. Yeah, I want me all over me. Already alive. See, I will love you forever. Yeah, I want me all over me. Already alive. I will love you forever. My baby, you are my sunshine, my love and my essence. There's no one like you. My baby, you are my sunshine, my love and my essence. There's no one like you. You are me, all over me, already alive. Say I will love you forever. Oh, me, all over me, already alive. Say I will love you forever. My sugar, my honey, my lover, I will love you forever. My baby, my lover, and my best friend, I will love you forever. I place no woman above you. I will love you forever. I promise to always love you, baby. I will love you forever. And there's no one other comes close. I will love you forevermore. And ever and ever and evermore. I will love you forever. Cause you are my baby, my sunshine. I will love you forever. And when there's nothing more to say, I will love you forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. I will love you forever.
All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining tonight. We'll continue our discussion on anatomy of relationship and marriage. And today we are looking at parenting part 2. Parenting part 2. Youth of this generation are faced with the challenge of choosing life partners, and many have followed practices and not principles. And this has led to situations where they have a high rate of divorce and paternity fraud in many marriages. So the goal of the program today is to help everyone that will be part of this to get it right in these critical areas of their life. You will learn some uncommon thoughts in this program, but please note that these are based on scriptures, they are based on research, they are based on science, and it will help you to align with current realities. Listen with open mind. Also go and check some of the thoughts that have been shared, whether those things were so. You know, we've been on this now for a while. It's been long, actually. And it's deliberate because, you know, when you discuss something and you're not exhaustive, it becomes very difficult for people to be able to get all that they need to get. Most of the time when you have a program like this, people do 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and sometimes we're done. But in the real sense of the word, there's so much that needs to be learned. There's so much to discuss. There's so much to put together. Unfortunately, we're always in a hurry because we have so many things we want to do. And we do not give all the time and attention that this requires to it. And we're seeing the impact of it in our society. So today we are looking at the fundamental, the anatomy of relationship and marriage, and we're discussing the parenting part 2. And we're discussing the parenting part 2. Let me ask you some questions. Who taught you about parenting? You will say, who will you say taught you about parenting? Who? Who taught you about parenting? More often than not, when we consider the person that taught us about parenting, you will realize that they themselves don't know well enough. So the question we should ask is, who also taught them about parenting? The person that taught us. So if I ask you, who taught you about parenting, you will say your parent. Then who taught your parent about parenting? Your grandparent. Who taught your grandparents about parents? The great-grandparent. These are people that live in the uncivilized world without technology. And then we want to use their own model to guide and parent our children. Of course, it won't work. In whose culture were you taught parenting? What is the prevailing culture around where you were taught parenting? That's exactly what your parents did to you. Now, what has been the report? If your culture see a child as a parent, as property rather, and as an achievement, do you know that this is a problem? Now, what has been the report card of the culture that have taught you parenting? The kind of culture we grew up in, the culture that see children as, in my culture, they say, omolasho. Omolasho. Omolasho means children are your clothing. Omolasho means children are your clothing. So what that means is that those that don't have children are naked. They see children as the fruit of marriage, the only fruit of marriage, actually. And that's the problem. Because what that culture is saying is that a successful marriage is a marriage that have kids. But there's so many married that have kids that are separated, they're divorced, and there's so many that do not have kids and they're still living together happily. This is why the definition that guides what you call marriage is so important. What's your definition? What's your definition? That's so important. Very, very important. You will agree with me that the outcome of the African parenting is what has made Nigeria and Africa to be backward as it is today. Look, no matter the way we argue it, the facts remain that if the West are like the way they are today, they are better off and want to go there. And Africa are as bad and want to live there, want to run away from there, want to japa. The people that are running the Western world, they were children some years ago. The people running Africa were children some years ago. So there is a culture that trained those people in the Western world that make them to make their country a place that everybody wants to go to. There is also a culture that trained people in Africa that make them to turn their country a place that people want to run away from. So whichever way you look at it, the culture of parenting in the West have yielded a better result. You can say whatever you want to say about, they don't believe in God, and they are gay, they are homosexual, whatever you want to say about. The result in that community today was as a result of the parent that was done many years ago. We don't know what their action today is going to produce in future. Maybe it might become a very terrible society. It's possible because some of the things we are seeing today. But what we are seeing today, the way the society has evolved, the way the society has become such a place that everybody wants to go today, is as a result of the parents that groom those children who are leaders today. There is a way they were groomed. There's a way they evolve and develop. And that, whichever way you look at it, has significantly contributed to the society you have today. That, to a large extent, has contributed to the society you have today. A society that everybody wants to run to. We have also created a society that everybody wants to run away from. Is that not interesting? So which culture were you taught parenting? Are we parenting a new generation with old script? They are a new generation. Like I said when I started, the people that taught your parenting is your grandparent. People that taught your grandparent about parenting is your great-grandparent. Your great-grandparents live in an uncivilized world. You are living in a civilized world. You are living in a civilized world. You definitely cannot run parenting the way your parent did it. So you can't parent a new generation with an old script. This is exactly what we are doing when we are parenting a new generation of children with a SIA script. And that is, if you even have a script at all. If you even have a script at all. By script, I mean, what are the principles that guide your parenting style? What are the principles that guide your parenting style? What do you want this child to become? Remember last week we talked about the fact that train up a child in the way he should go. There is a way the child should go, and it's your job to discover where the child should go. It is your job to discover where the child should go. So train up a child in the way he should go. There is a way that he should go. There is a way that he should go. And he said, when he's old, he will not depart, because he has been scripted, conditioned to think in a particular way, the way you brought him up. It has created in him some subconscious behavior that no matter what happened, that subconscious behavior still remains. So do you even have a script at all? Many parents don't have a script. Please note that what happened between when a child is born till when it's 7 years, all the child does is being scripted with what he sees other people do and what he has been exposed to between 0 to 7 years. If you're always watching TV, you're scripting the child to be watching TV. If he sees you always reading, you're scripting the child to be studious. If he sees you always playing, jesting, gisting, you are also scripting the child to do the same. To do the same. A child is born partly blank. I say partly because from the last trimester, the last 3 months of pregnancy, you're already installing into that child different things, because the child can hear. At that time, it's already learning. He's learning a lot of things from outside. At that time. And it's already been scripted. So the child is partially blank when he's born. Now, installation starts in the last trimester. That installation continues until age 6 and 7, 6 to 7, when the child becomes more conscious. and he begins to do what he sees. He begins to do what he sees. My son can be alone for 1-2 hours, even 3 hours. I'm here now. My wife is not around. She's in the sitting room. He's in the sitting room, and he's on his own, and he's playing. Sometimes maybe reading on his tablet or playing with his toy. Somehow in my house. Sometimes I'll be busy. My wife will be busy. And he will also be busy. Doing his thing. We rarely on TV. Very rare. I'm not even sure when Larry will subscribe. So he is used to not watching TV. Very used to it. Very, very used to it. Some children cannot do without TV. He is used to not watching TV. Because, and he's almost 7, this is what he grew up with. This is what he grew up with. And sincerely, I'm studying him and learning. As I'm applying the principle, I'm also studying the result. So some things when I say something, like when last we were talking about beating, and I've practiced it, not beating, just talking, and using different measures to control and govern behavior. And I discover it's possible. It may be challenging, but he will get through that phase. If he is able to master it, you get to a phase that becomes a lot easier to be able to control. So no child is born bad. The child becomes bad. Please note that. No child is born bad. The child becomes bad by several factors that they are exposed to, which they do not have control over, but it could have been prevented by putting the right system in place. If the child grows up in a home where the husband and wife fight, the child cannot, you hear sometimes, I don't know if it's a skit or it was a reality conversation or something. And we're talking about some ladies there's some ladies, they're drama queen. As in, they can't survive in a relationship that there's no problem. The guy is not cheating. There's no fight. There's no disappointment. As in, they can't survive because their own normal is chaos. Their own normal. Same for guys. Because they grew up in an environment that is chaotic. There's always fight, quarrel, rancor. They grew up in an environment that is chaotic. So how will they survive? They can't survive. They cannot. Because they have been scripted in a way by the way they grew up. Let me tell you, there are some things in your life today, you yourself don't even know you have been scripted to do it. There's a way you behave. You don't even know that this is not normal. You have taken it as normal, but your environment created it. Your family, your parents, your siblings. Somehow. There's a way you handle issues or challenges. There's a way you respond to challenges and issues. There's just a way you react, but that's not normal. Let me give you an example for myself. My voice is very loud. When I grew up, when I had to sit down and check it, I realized that my dad has a very loud voice. The day I met my grandfather when I was young also, he has a very loud voice. You see my son? He has a very loud voice. I live on the 3rd floor in my building where I live. If my son is on the last floor and he's coming upstairs and he's talking, singing, I'm not in the sitting room, I'm in the room, far away from the door, main door. I will know my son is coming, as in he's that loud. There's something you just pick up, eh? Let me tell you another one. I love entrepreneurship. I had a very good job in bank, thriving job, as in I was doing very well with promotion on time. high-paying job in bank, and I resigned 12 years ago. Now, when I was resigning, someone said I was on a suicide mission. To me, it was like, why will I not resign? Why will I remain in this place forever? I need to do something. I think it was normal to me. When I realized a lot of my colleagues cannot do it, and some of them are still in banking till today, they're even big boys in banking. And I was asking myself one day, I said, how was I able to do this thing? I said, how could I just leave a high and just resign? And now realize, growing up, I realized that my parents were both entrepreneurs. So in my house, I've not heard about salary. As in, I only hear that, okay, we are working on the contract, or we're trying to buy something. I said, my mom was a trader, my father is a contractor. I said, they were just businessmen and women. So subconsciously, I don't know, that contributed to me being easy for me to just resign from the job. Because I'm used to entrepreneurship growing up. I even stayed in my mommy's shop, helping us to sell. Now, what I'm going to say that no child is born bad. They become bad by several factors that they are exposed to, which could have been prevented by putting the right system in place. Whereas some children are already learning good mannerism, learning about science, learning about finance, even geography at age 6, human body, all that some children know apart from what they learned in school is the latest song, the latest movie, drama, comedy, fighting, abusing. In some cases, sex and sexuality. Sex and sexuality. Sex and sexuality. What am I trying to say? The same child, a child of the same age, one has good mannerism. He knows when to say thank you. He knows how to relate with people. He's learning about science. He's learning about finance. He's learning about geography. He's learning about anatomy at the age of 6. The only thing some people know is the latest song. They know how to dance booga. That's the only thing they know, apart from what they learn in school. Some, they know how to abuse, as in they can abuse very well at the age of 6. They can insult at the age of 6. Some already watching porn at the age of 6. Some can fight, can insult at the age of 6. A child that is exposed to sex abuse as a child will abuse others as he grows up. If as a girl, she's abused sexually by a woman, then she's being prepared for lesbianism. She will abuse other girls. As a boy, she's abused sexually, being prepared to be a gay. The challenge is that she will also do the same. The challenge of many parents is that the acts or the skill they are using to shape their children into good adults is blunt. The acts, by acts, I mean the skill they are using to shape their children into adults is blunt. King Solomon says that if the axe is blunt and you do not sharpen the edge, then you must use more strength to use it. But skill brings success. I have accepted that ignorance is a gift. It keeps everybody humble to learn. I have accepted it. That ignorance is a gift. And I realize that that's why in your life, you must follow different people. You can follow someone because you love the way the children have turned out. You can follow another person because you know the way their career has turned out. You can follow another person because you love the way their spiritual life is. I say, you have different people you are learning different things from. Because There are some people, you respect them in one area, but in another area, they're not doing well. They might be very good spiritually, but their family and home is in shambles. Their children are wayward. Have you ever wondered why a number of religious leaders today, pastors, religious leaders in different assemblies, a number of their children don't want to be pastors? You rarely find many children who want to be pastor and their pastor, senior pastor, very few. Many of them don't ever want to be one. Many of them don't ever want to be one. Why? Why don't they want to be one? Because of what they see. Because of what they see. Because of what they see. And what they see is influencing them negatively. So if you have someone in your life as a leader and you don't like the way his children are living, of course you don't learn about parenting from that man. You can learn another thing from him, but you have to look for someone else who will learn this from. You should have those kind of people in your lives that you're following and they're adding different value to your life. So King Solomon says, if the axe be blunt and you don't wet the edge, if the axe be blunt and you don't wet the edge, he said, you will need more strength to use it, but skill brings success. You cannot pray into yourself parenting skill. You can't pray it in. You can't pray it in. You have to learn it. It has to be acquired. Just as you acquire skill to be an engineer, that's where you acquire skill to be a parent. So many parents have an idea of what they want their children to be. And this ideal picture is usually in their head. But the problem is that many parents have not asked the question that, who do I need to become in order to be able to properly groom my children to become the great picture I have in my head? They need to ask the question, who is a parent? A parent is not someone that yells at the child. You don't parent it by yelling. A parent is not someone that impregnates a woman. A parent is not someone that is mature enough to get pregnant. Parenting is not a title. It's a function that needs to be fulfilled. To parent is to bring forth. To parent is to bring forth. The successful parent is the one that has the skill to scout. He's able to spot the identity of the arrow in his quiver and intentionally groom and shoot it in a direction of a predetermined target. That's the way it should go. In a way that the arrow consistently solves problems that it was designed to solve in service to God or humanity. So a parent is someone who can identify the child, who can develop the child, who can deploy the child to solve the problem it's created to solve in the world. This shows that parents have threefold responsibility: to discover, to develop, and to deploy. The first job is to discover the child. This is a lot of work, because if your mindset is messed up, you will damage your child instead of discovering him. For example, if you beat a 5-year-old for spilling water on the ground, then you do not understand what a child is and how to discover a child. On how to discover a child. How can you beat a 5-year-old for spilling water on the ground? There are some destructive things that children do, but those destructive things too is a pointer for you to discover them. If you see your child sleeping in the night with her leg on the wall and interpret that she's a witch or he's a wizard and she has gone to meeting, it means that those that taught you growing up as parents have not done well for you. They have not done a good job on you. They have given you a different way to interpret reality. Also know that your child should not be a compensation for what you could have achieved in growing up. Like my son will be a doctor because you could not make it to be a doctor. You could not get admission for medicine. My son will be a lawyer because you not make it to be a lawyer. Your child is not a retirement benefit. So do not invest in them so you can reap in your latter years because you might be disappointed. Because you might be disappointed. Because you might be disappointed. You might be disappointed. It is important to know that when a child is less than 3, he believes that my parent knows everything. Listen to this very well. Listen to this. When a child is less than 3, he believes my parent knows everything. Between 4 and 6, he believes that my parent know a lot of things. From age 7 to 9, he believed that my parent knows some things. From age 10 to 12, he believed that my parent know a few things. From age 13 and above, he believed that my parent know nothing. 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 He believed my parent know nothing. Look at that progression. Know nothing. A minute, please. So it's important to know that from age 13, he believes you don't know anything. So it progresses. And if a parent does not know this, it will affect the way you live with your child. Because if you have had a good relationship with the child and you're able to answer a lot of his questions, he will still believe you know some things and depart to you from 13. But if you don't do the work very well, from 13 might not come to you again. Because there's no need. Because the mindset at that level is that my parent does not know anything. Now, it's important to note that by the age of 6, personality of a child is 80% formed. And this is based on programs that have been installed in them, based on what they see you do. So you will still stand a chance of 20% of installing in them the better value, right values, between age 6 and 12. By the time a child is 12, the personality is 100% formed. Can you see the reason why they don't believe you know anything? They are not like dry fish. It's difficult to bend. They are not like dry fish, very difficult to bend. This is not the reason why it's very difficult for it to change many children who are now teenagers and are wayward. It's very important to understand that what parent must have rather, in order to be able to engage and nurture this new generation of children. Please know that you are not parenting a new generation. So you are parenting rather a new generation. You will be parenting a new generation called Generation Z and Generation Alpha. Generation Z and Generation Alpha. These are very bold and loud generation. Very bold and loud. They see this as a right, and hence they are called Sorosoke generation. You do know the reason why they call them Sorosoke? Old people cannot handle them. If you have a very old mentality, you can't handle them. Sorosoke generation, they are bold and loud. Very bold and loud. This generation have come to question everything we have been told that we have believed which our parents got away with. You know, I follow a few of them online. They question everything. And sincerely, I like the question they're asking. Only that for the religious mind, you know, I follow a particular one. This girl, she should be in her 20s. She questioned Christianity. I have issue with white men because of the way they colonize us. Does not like Islam, does not like Muslim, prefer African traditional religion. He said he doesn't want Abrahamic religion. Talking about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But you know, when he comes and say his opinion, asking questions that Christians need to answer, they will be abusing him, they will be abusing her. They will say, don't worry, the day something will happen to you, you will now know God, Jesus is Lord. The lady will not be saying, can you see Christian? See Christian who are wishing me evil. So this is the way they will behave. So as in fact, the way Christians respond to that girl online is making her to be more angry at Christianity. Because we're not even showing her love at all. We're not be wishing her evil because she doesn't believe in your God or Christianity. She used to be a Christian, she renounced her faith. In fact, she has accepted that she will not get married because the guy he was dating, when he began to deconstruct herself of the religious beliefs, and he was telling the guy the way he wants to live her life, the guy said, no, me, I can't deal with this. So they broke up. So she already had faith that she's not expected she will get married unless she's able to find guys that is like, Now, what I'm trying to say is that young lady, but Sorosuke generation, they are questioning everything. And it's good a question. Because if they don't question, we find answer to it, which is why I deal with some of this issue in a series this year on our beliefs. If we don't answer this question, we are going to have a lot of atheists among our children. Because they are going to ask questions if you don't answer. If you cannot answer, they just say, my parents have been deceived. Christianity is a scam. God is a scam. Jesus is a scam. They will say all sorts of things, and they see their parents have been deceived. Their parent doesn't even know what he's doing. Remember at 13, they don't believe their parents know anything. But that's the situation in our world today. That's the situation in our world today. This question everything that their parents have believed. Everything they've been told and taught. You therefore need a very strategic system of parenting in place to be able to win them over. Here are the characteristics of the children that we are raising in this generation. Identify the identity is not defined by quest for truth. They are open-minded and love to express individual truth. Their identity is not defined. Their identity is not defined in their quest for truth, but rather they are open-minded. They want to express their own individual truth. You need to therefore be able to manage their perspective through power of questioning by asking, what do you think about this and why? So you must be able to ask them questions. If you engage them, if you ask them questions, you will help them to think, and you can bring them back to their senses by making them to question themselves. It's like someone say, I don't believe in God. I will ask you, do you believe in science? If you say you believe in science, okay. Do you believe in Newton's law of motion? Yes, you believe in Newton's law of motion. So you believe that nothing can remain in a state of rest or a uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled by external force to act otherwise. Okay. And do you believe that the earth rotates on its axis once in 24 hours? Yes. And once in 365 days it rotates around the sun? Yes. Okay. If you believe all that, then you must believe that there is a force that is rotating the earth. It's not doing it by itself. There's a force rotating it. I choose to call him God. You can choose to call him whatever you want to call it, but you should know there's a supernatural force controlling what happened in this world. Now, what I've just done is to give him perspective. You might not believe in my God I believe in, but you know that there is a supernatural force somewhere. Just asking questions and helping with perspectives. They are radically inclusive and connecting to different truths. They understand everyone's style. Therefore, before they are 12 years, you need to bring them into an intentional ideology. Intentional ideology that is built on love, that is built on equality, that is built on fairness, but leave room for respect for others. Love, equality, fairness, and respect for others. They need fewer confrontation. Don't confront them. They prefer more of dialogue. And they seek to understand different truths. There is a guy who grew up in a church that believed in the Bible, that preached the Bible. that believe in the truth of the Bible, and they believe so much in the Bible and preach the Bible so much, and the name Bible reflects in their name. A child that grew up in that same church is today a herbalist. And he was telling the interviewer that a number of things that Christianity teaches are not practicable. He can't see result. When he became Babalawo, he was trained to become Babalawo. He said he can do result, as in he was divining for his siblings. His siblings are now in African traditional religion. He divined for his parents are still leader in church, but he divined for them. He can tell them, no, don't do that one. No, they're not. As in he divined for them. So now, his siblings are seeing results. He's able to tell them, as in divine for them, tell them how their life will be, as in more like predict. And it happened. And his siblings are joining. So he said, Christianity, a lot of people just believe, because the way Christianity has been sold to us, it doesn't help us enjoy the power in Christianity. So for example, I was talking to some people on Sunday. I said, okay, so as a Christian, you're supposed to have the fruit of the Spirit. So how do you grow the fruit of the Spirit? The fruit of the Spirit is what makes you spiritual, right? How do you grow it? He said by listening, by taking in the word. Because the Bible says, as a babe desire the sincere milk of God, I may grow thereby. Okay. And also, so how do you take in the word? How do you take in the word? He said by reading. I said, no, it's not by reading. By reading, you can't take in the word. It can't become flesh in you by reading. It's through meditation. And I was telling them that, the Bible talks a lot about meditation, but Christians don't meditate. You just pray, talk, but you don't take time to meditate. Meditation involves imagining that thing, thinking about it, being still, sometimes voicing it and personalizing it to yourself to change your reality inside. We don't meditate. The only way the word becomes flesh in you is through meditation. And when the word becomes flesh in you and your belief is strengthened, it becomes unto you according to your faith. But your belief cannot be strengthened by just praying and reading the Bible if you don't meditate. If you don't meditate, if you don't let the word become flesh in you, you will not profit therein. And that was the problem of that guy. Look, these people are questioning everything. They are not loyal to anything. They are loyal to what worked for them. This same boy is in his 20s. He's an Ifa priest. Look, you can Google online. You can search. Maybe, let me see if I can do a search of the guy. You can search this guy and listen to him, because this is a very serious matter. It's a very serious matter. Very, very serious matter. I'm trying to see if I can search for this guy on Facebook now. Just hold on. I will tell you how to find this guy. He was interviewed by, what's the name of this? There's a particular, what do they call him now? Legit. I think it was Legit that interviewed me. Legit. There is this online platform called Legit that interviewed this guy. Legit. Okay. I'm trying to. I'm trying to see if I can locate the video so I can take you to search. Maybe you can search for Oluwo. Let me see if I can use his name to search. I can see here Olakunle Olawole. His name is Olakunle Olawole. He's an Oluwo Ifa priest. Yes, I've seen it. This guy said I was born into Deeper Life family. And today, you can search. I was born into Deeper Life family. Babalawo Oluwo Olakunle reveal. Babalawo Oluwo Olakunle reveal. You can search for him on what's in it. He was born into Deeper Life family. Today is an Oluwo. You can search for him. Now, for me, those are evidence to let you know that today, a lot of things happen in our society that is questioning our beliefs and our faith. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you the challenge of parenting, that if we don't develop skill to parent upcoming generation, they will even become atheists, not believe in anything. Not believe in anything. Change must come from dialogue. We can't slap our truth on them and wish their own truth away. They must be part of decision-making in the family. Like what food to eat in the house, particularly when they become teenagers, and where do we go for holiday. Please note that whatever they are not part of, they will not champion it. And in fact, they might even sabotage it realistically. That they are realistically pragmatic and looking for truth behind all things. They are not given to stuff that cannot be proven. They are not given to stuff that cannot be proven. They show clear-cut results and enjoy their quest for research and ability to question all things. Be ready to answer their question. If you don't have answer, do not tell them lies, but rather tell them you will get back to them. Because if you tell them lies, they will fact check and discover, daddy is a liar, mommy is a liar, mommy is not smart, daddy is not smart. They will fact check. When my son comes, my son asked me this afternoon, he said, Daddy, what's the color of Jupiter? He's always learning about planets. He's only learning about the body. I can tell him about body because I study medical science. I said, color of Jupiter. I said, I can't remember. He said, but you told me before. I said, I don't know. I can't. If you tell me so, I'll quickly Google and tell him. If I don't know it, I'll tell him I don't know it. I don't want him to see me as telling him lies because he won't come and ask me again. This generation needs to be pitied, actually. They need to be pitied. They need to be pitied. Show clear-cut results and enjoy their quest. Be ready to answer questions. If you don't have answer, don't tell them lies. They need to be pitied because they have access to internet with so many contradicting information. Also, they have opportunity to watch pornography. Now it happens at the speed of light because it is right there on their phones in search of who they truly are in the midst of contradicting information. That's easy to tell people online, which often make them come across as misbehaving generation. That is why you must define an identity for your children, constantly remind them of who they are in order to guide their behavior and the way they should go. I will stop here tonight. We'll continue next week. We'll round up this next week when I'll be looking at part 3 of this parenting matter. Let me hear from you, those of us that are here today. I can see a number of you with me. Okay, Favor, eventually you're able to join out to chat to you because I needed you to be here. Good evening, everyone. Senator Victor, how are you? What have you learned tonight?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for the session today. Well, what I just learned was talking about parenting, and we were like, most of what forms us is based on what we have been exposed to. Like you talked about your experience of how you left your job to start to begin entrepreneurship, and you're like, it's very possible that it was based on based on your reality, based on what you see around you. So it was more of a reflection of things that you see while growing up. And he said it's important that parents actually expose their children to things that will develop them as a person, not just music. Like most talk about, I think you said your son or some about a particular child that is always learning new things, and that will like prepare, that will mold him to become the kind of person is going to be in the future, unlike just being like when the child is just there wasting away his time or just learning only music or how to dance or something like that. So you said it's important that parents guide their children. Look, like it's very important that a parent should discover the talent and the possible, to try the talents, develop the person of the child, and also to help him deploy his gifts in making the world a better place. So that every parent should be aware and should be aware of the capability and the ability of their child and guide them in the way they should go. And it's important that the child is given room to express himself so that they can actually guide him and refine him to become a better person for himself and also for the society. So I think that is what I've been able to like gap.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much. Any question for me?
This one is parenting, so I don't know much. So I'm just
Okay,
learning.
that's good. Okay, let me hear from Favor, the favored one. Favor should have question for me because she's a parent. Favor, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for prompting me. I was having some challenge with network, but it was later fine.
Okay.
Sincerely, this session is actually eye-opening. It what we come to see today. There are a lot of, I know that any parents that is on this call already knows that he or she has been answering questions, maybe from day one. The question they will not ask. Of course, they ask those questions, they get responses. They also want to see whether your response actually ties to your. If I stand, okay, it's going to me, but you told me that this particular thing works in this particular way. So I think from then, it's really a Sorosuke generation where they're asking questions. And the aspect of having to say that they see parents as not knowing much, that's very true. Because sometimes they almost assume that we are from Stone Age.
Yes.
In fact, there's some things you do, the child will say, you mean you don't know this particular thing? And then it looks like they are from another planet. Mars. But really, what I maybe for Misha, what I try to do is listen in with them. And then so my mom even knows this one, so she's like a little bit in our time. So I think for parents, what I learned today is to continue to learn, continue to also ask what we say, so that it doesn't contradict an opinion or form a particular thing they want in which they will start to act. I was also shocked at the issue you mentioned on your rule, but I know that most, even younger, ask somebody to do something, and then like I used to have a very like
you were shocked at what?
Children should be, was like each time my mother, you open the shop, you should have. Mother was struggling with. Sorry, sir.
You said you were shocked at what?
I didn't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
They will tell my mother we're not supposed to wear trousers. So that we were not supposed to wear trousers. And she would have asked that she was shocked at seeing the television. So then she was like, we're not supposed to watch TV either. So I think my mother.
I can't hear you. Maybe you should go out and come in. I can't hear you at all.
Hello, sir. I'm back now. I think it was the network.
I said you were shocked at something. How were you shocked at?
Okay, she said she was shocked at the TV, our TV, because she said that we're not supposed to watch TV when we're small.
Who is, okay, your parent?
Television.
Who told you?
Yeah, no, my mother's friend. Okay, so my mom was in the Deeper Life, and then
oh, your mom was Deeper Life.
Her friend. So when she comes to the house, yes. So she would say TV, that she's shocked that my mother still left the TV for us to watch. And then because we had a Catholic background before my mother joined the Deeper Life, she was confused as to, oh, if I don't put this TV, what will these children be doing and things like that. So she had but her mindset was also kind of different. So she was like, okay, I'll monitor what they watch and everything. We had a lot of restrictions. And she also had the aspects of the trouser too, that she also had. So there were so many things that she, why I actually mentioned this story is that when we then grew up, because she had younger girls too, when we grew up, in fact, her own girls became worse. So they don't watch the TV in their house, but whenever they get the opportunity to go to a friend's house, they will watch anything. In fact, one of them at like 16, 17, she got pregnant and she was confused because obviously she was always taking them to church and everything. They even had their hair always covered. They were everything. They looked like everything at home, but they were expressing themselves whenever they find themselves outside. So I was just pointing out then that from the Luo story, I was like, it's actually normal because most of them, when they go to church, especially in this time, they were much younger than us. So now we have them as grown women too, but they're quite different. Now, she could not handle that again at that point. But the truth was, she probably telling them the reason why she was actually saying is don't watch this. There were no directions, actual directions as to what to do. So I think for me, it's a call to the consciousness of
I can't hear you again. I can't hear you again. Wow. I cannot hear you again. Okay, he went out. Oh, so sorry.
Network is very, very bad.
Okay.
My network is very bad, sir. Okay, I'll just ask, sir. Let me just cut it short and just ask my question. How do one actually react if you child something and you're seeing the child probably act differently?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So if, for instance, you've taught a child, I say, how do one handle if you have seen a child, if you've taught a child something, like the expectation normally, with most believers, you say, oh, train up the child where he should go. When he grows up, he will not depart from it. The child is not going in the direction that you think, going by the happenings around them and the things that they probably experience outside the home where they're, or outside when they're with you.
I'm not sure I got your question. Hello? Hello?
No, I was saying, sir, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm saying, sir, that when we teach our children things and the right path to take, how do we handle or respond when they probably go out and they see a different thing or they feel a different thing entirely?
Give me an example.
What is happening around them?
Give me an example.
Oh, okay. Right at the top of my head, I can't pick an example.
No, why I say give me an example.
Maybe...
I want to know, because when you say train up child in the go, it's scripting. It's not from what you just say. It's what you also do, what you also model. They don't do most of the time what you tell them. They do most of the time what they see you do. So if, okay, I'll tell my son to sleep early, and he will say, why don't you sleep also? If I tell him to go and sleep, he said I should come and sleep with him. So I will sleep by his side, but that's when he will sleep. Because he said, you're telling me to sleep, you're not sleeping now. Why is that adult don't sleep and they'll tell children to go and sleep? So he said, if I want to sleep early, then I should sleep beside him. When he sleep up, and then I'll stand up and go and do what I want to do. What I'm trying to say is that you need to model it, model it. So it's not just saying it. When you say sincerely, it's not entering, no. It's what you model that enters. So what are you modeling? So that's why I would have loved to see an example. And when you now say if they go out and see something else, if they've been trained the way they should go, even if they see something outside, what they will do is to come back. For example, if you have a conversation with your child about relationship, as a parent, you are not promiscuous, so they can't see you are not promiscuous. So when you are telling them about relationship, about the need to keep themselves, they can see that you also, as a father or mother, they don't see you with a lot of women or a lot of men. Now, so you're modeling it already, one way or the other. But you're now telling them, if you let them know why, don't tell a child, don't kiss a boy, don't touch a boy. You can't say that now. Why would you say that? Why should you not do it? If you can't explain the reason why and they can see the benefit of not doing it, he will do it. If you just tell him, why can you say you should not do it? Why should he not do it? Until you know the reason why, then when that temptation comes or when that conversation comes, he will remember that mommy and daddy say this. Okay, this is the implication. And you're not just saying that, you're showing them an example of the possibility. So they won't know you are, as if you are lying. They can see that this is a possibility. And you are giving them the reason to consider what you are saying. But if there's no possibility, you're just saying they should not. For one reason, why should they listen to you? The favor of one. I don't know if I'm making sense to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct, sir.
So that's why I said, when will your daughter be back?
She's back now. She's back, sir. But I took her briefing. She's going back to school on Monday. They're actually closing on Friday.
Is she going to be available tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
And we can have that conversation tomorrow. Chat me when we finish. Let me know the time that
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we can have that conversation tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
All right. Favor Atasie. Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, sir.
Emmanuel. Anything learned tonight? Hello, Emmanuel. Are you there? Emmanuel? Okay, Emmanuel is not. Okay, yes. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Wow.
I really actually great opportunity and session. Really nice. Quite a lot on parenting, though yet to be different. But I think in one of my like my nephew and nieces
wow.
around, then even in church, they're coaching some children.
I can't hear you again. Are you there? Are you there? Okay, I can't hear you. Okay, maybe we can close here. The other Favor Atasie, I think he's having issue with his network also. All right, thank you very much, everyone. See you next week as we round up this particular subsection, and then we'll move on to the last part. that will lead us into January. Have a wonderful weekend and bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's not forget you said what we're going to end with answering some of those questions that you were,
What's
those situations that, no, there's a last, you said you're going to do something at the last session after you've covered the several areas. You know, some of the questions, you played some instances of some relationship challenges
No,
that some
we
people
will
are
do that in
facing.
January. The last part I have, we have about 5 parts
Okay.
of that. So we'll do that in January.
Oh, okay, sir.
We're running up this late January, I think. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. So what